we'll kickstart today's session. So just to welcome you all, thank you so much for joining our first webinar of the year, which is Delivering Profitability, and it's part of our Growth 2021 series. We've got a fantastic panel of speakers talking to you today, and we've got a really insightful hour ahead of us. So you'll be hearing from our CEO, Safa, our sales director, Hassan, and our consultant, Ryan. We also have 2 Autocab customers joining us today. So you'll be hearing from Dom from DG Cars and Matt from Shrewsbury Taxis, both of who have seen absolutely incredible results from implementing Delivery Point within their businesses. And they'll be talking to you about their experience and the different models that they have adopted. So just to run you through kind of what you can be expecting from today. So Safa will shortly be taking you through a quick introduction to delivery and why you should really be implementing a delivery service and how this can enhance your business. We'll then have Q&As with Dom from DG Cars and Matt from Shrewsbury Taxis before we go over to Hassan, who will take you through the latest features of Delivery Point and give you a quick demo. We'll then hand over to Ryan, who will take you through some of the tips and tricks into how to sell Delivery Point to restaurants before Safa concludes the webinar with a look into the future and what we can expect from delivery over the coming years. So just before we get started, a few housekeeping points, just to let you know that this webinar will be being recorded. So if you do have any questions or want to go over anything, it will be available to view later this week, so you can do that then. We will be conducting polls during this session. I'm just about to set the first of those live. So if you would like to get involved, that would be fantastic. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'll show the results after the poll, and these are anonymous. We will be taking questions during this session as well. So if you would like to ask a question, please just use the Q&A box and the team will get back to you during the time. And if you would like to upvote a question, please just click on the like button and it will escalate it to the top of the list. So we've had quite a good number of you already vote, so I'm just going to end the polling for now. So it's fantastic to see that a lot of you are already considering a delivery service, and we really hope that this session will prove insightful and show you give you some clarity on which model would work best for you. And for those of you who aren't sure at this stage, again, we hope that this session will provide you with some invaluable insight into why you should be doing this now. So that's it from me, and without further ado, I'd like to pass over to Safa.
Great, Grace. Thank you so much for setting this up. Well, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're hearing hopefully sometime in August, end of July, things won't be going back to normal. And really looking forward to that. Honestly, it's been a hell of a year going through all this pandemic, but really looking forward to things going back to normal this summer. So, you know, in terms of the delivery market, and this is something that we covered in our last webinar that we did a number of months back on delivery. It is absolutely huge. You know, we've had basically as much as 400% growth in the fourth quarter of 2020 as to the year before in terms of the amount of delivery work that's happening up and down the country. And it's not just growing fast, but it is really, really big. I just want to give you a perspective of size. So if you look at the taxi industry and all the jobs that we do up and down the country, and look at all the different firms and all the work that they do, the delivery work is equal to that. The delivery market is equal to the taxi market. So, you know, if we think there's we've seen the great opportunity in taxi and private hire, and all of us have been working for many years in that space. You know, honestly, it is really, you know, amazing the opportunity that's there. The other thing that's actually really, really interesting is that this delivery space is what's called an adjacent market to the market that we have. We have really all of the ingredients, excuse the pun, to basically enter that market quite easily. Next slide, Grace. So the question says, okay, well, there's a great market out there. That's very interesting. It's growing, it's big. Why us? Why should we be doing it? And, you know, if I had come to you at the beginning of the pandemic, and we know what we know then is that we're going to have a year and a half of kind of really hard hit to our market. And if I were to come and tell you, you know what, I've got a plan for you. that you can grow your business by 150% within 1 year while there is a pandemic that's going on, I think all of you would say you're crazy, Safa. But in reality, that's what some of our customers have done already. And it's really quite incredible. And the way it kind of hides while we are during this pandemic, it actually hides itself, that growth hides itself. And if you want to look at this simple chart that I put on the right hand side, pre-pandemic, that bar there is the passenger work that we all have, right? And it's a certain amount, 10,000 jobs a week, 40,000 jobs a week, whatever the size of your firm. Now, during the pandemic, obviously, we've seen a hit. We've seen that passenger work go from 30% down to 80% hit on that. So obviously, that's been lower. Now, smart taxi companies, what they've been doing is they're going into this delivery adjacent market and growing in that market. And that's the lighter blue bar. So they're growing that market. Now, it doesn't look like they're growing at this point in time. It looks like they're about staying the same, just barely, maybe 5% under, maybe exactly where they are. But what's going to happen is as soon as the pandemic ends, hopefully this summer, you will see the passenger work go back up to what it was today, probably a little bit higher, but it goes back to pre-pandemic time. But then all of a sudden, the delivery work is going to be right on top of it. And so in a year and a half of very difficult time, you're going to go from the left-hand side of having a certain amount of work, you're going to grow as a business by 140, 150% right after the pandemic. And honestly, it's interesting to see some of the biggest companies in the world, including Uber and others, have applied this strategy. But it's so phenomenal. I'm so proud that actually our customers have done this, and they didn't need big strategists to do this. They're smart, and basically have been able to grow their business. It doesn't look like it right now, but you watch and see as soon as the pandemic ends, they're gonna see 150% increase in their business. And to me, that's the opportunity that we have today. And this is how we can really capitalize on this pandemic situation that we've got. Next slide. So Autocab ourselves, honestly, we had, as soon as the pandemic hit, we had some discussions with customers, and we're saying, look, how can we help? And we had a number of customers at the time, it was kind of mutual, where we're saying, look, there's a really great opportunity in delivery. We ought to go into a delivery. And very quickly at that time, we came up with, we said, look, what can we do to help our customers through this? And we came up with a kind of a 3-step process, that things that we can do to help our customers get into delivery from a technology perspective. So one was what we call delivery point, which is really the ability to put a piece of tech anywhere, in a restaurant, in a shop, in a florist, in a takeaway. And then regardless of where the order comes from, the delivery happens through delivery point, and our customers, a taxi company, can perform that delivery. And that is something that we developed very early on in the pandemic. And I think it might have been in July or something, or August, we actually put together a delivery webinar at the time, where we introduced Delivery Point, and now we have tens of customers using Delivery Point very successfully. I'm pleased to announce that we are releasing today a new version of Delivery Point. Has a new improved UI, but also very important additional features that will only make the service more efficient. So that's number one, and that is something that we achieved early on last summer. The next step that we put forward this plan even to our customers, even in the last webinar, is we said we would like to have the ability for our customers to have their own delivery app and take on the delivery app market and realize good percentage. It could have as much as 15 to 20 to 25% on the food orders in terms of revenue. And I'm glad to announce today that we are launching delivery app, so then our customers can launch their own apps integrated with Delivery Point, and that is now available as of today. And the third step was to work with delivery aggregators. There are a number of companies out there that have lots of deliveries and really don't have the means to to deliver, or they may find it more efficient to work with our customers to do deliveries. And this is something that we are still working on. Look forward to some interesting announcements, I'd say, over the next 2 to 3 months on that area. So really glad to say that we've delivered on 1 and 2 and look forward very soon to deliver on 3. Next slide, Grace. So today we just wanted to honestly put forward 2 customers of ours that have done a great job with delivery, and I know others, by the way, are doing a great job out there. These are the 2 that we happen to reach out to, and I just want to tell you at a high level what they're doing, and then we'll have a discussion about this. So on the left hand side we have DG Cars. So DG Cars, what they've been doing for the past few months is installing delivery points in a number of restaurants in Nottingham and the areas around Nottingham. I think today they have as much as 160 restaurants with delivery point, and the orders can come from anywhere. From
Sorry,
Uber
Safi, yes,
Eats.
160.
Is it 160? Yes, yeah, yeah. So so they've been so orders can come from Deliveroo, from Just Eat, from Uber Eats, or shoppers could be calling the restaurant themselves, and the order comes in through delivery point to do the delivery, and they've been performing that. Today they're getting up to 4,100, 4,000 additional jobs, delivery jobs that are happening every week coming into DG Cars, and they've hired or they brought on board 175 different drivers just for delivery so far. So they've had phenomenal success with that. On the other hand, Shrewsbury Taxis took a slightly different approach. They said, we'd like to actually offer our own or launch our own food delivery app into the market. They've called it Shrewsbury Eats. And they have launched that, and that technology connects into delivery point. So basically they're doing both the deliveries but also the food ordering part as well. And they've been able to manage in Shrewsbury, which Shrewsbury is great, don't take me wrong, but it may not be the largest city, in the UK. They've been able to manage 1,000 additional orders or orders on their app per week. And that, of course, gives them the opportunity to make money not only on the delivery but also from the food order as well. They've signed up 28 different restaurants in their city, and you'll get to see this app later on. Okay, so but look, the exciting part. Let me stop talking because we have here the 2 men that have been able to make this work. I have Dom from DG Cars and Matt from Shrewsbury Taxis. They're both going to join me today. We'll start off with Dom. So, Dom, I want to ask you, how did you guys convince yourself that you want to enter delivery? I know you've been at it right from the beginning. So, what was it? How did you get into delivery, and why do you think you got into delivery?
I think as a company, it's something we've been talking about pre-COVID, looking at ways to get into the parcel delivery market, pharmaceuticals and other areas of anything that can be delivered, not just passengers. And then along came COVID, and then it was more out of necessity as the kind of corporate client base disappeared, and people's assumptions that COVID would be around for 2 to 3 months, maybe 4 months initially. Started to get a much bigger picture. This was going to go on for some time. The more clients we spoke to, the more insight we got into what was happening with them when they were anticipating being back in the office. And what you had at the time represented an opportunity, although we didn't necessarily, or I didn't necessarily understand it completely, new market, but it gave us an opportunity to go and talk to people we wouldn't necessarily always be tapping on the door for business, if that makes sense.
So that's interesting. So you're actually thinking, you can morph your business into something more than taxi. It sounds like you had that idea even before COVID, where you wanted to offer your customers everything, taxi, if they want to, do delivery and food, and then other things as well. That's really very insightful, and being very early is really good on that.
You just moving things instead of people, aren't you? If you think about it, what's the difference?
Interesting, yeah. rather than moving people to get things, you move things to people. So
Yes.
it's about the same, isn't it? So how did you convince restaurants to get on board? What was that like, and what did you have to do to do that?
Well, I mean, pretty much like anybody who's watching this, we already had a number of relationships with a lot of venues, bars, clubs, restaurants where we may have had taxi butlers installed, or we do kind of employee staff accounts, that kind of thing. So we had quite a large network already to go and speak to. But the beginning section really was sitting with my directors, trying to understand what the device was. And it's easy to understand. What we didn't understand was the Uber Eats, Just Eat, and the food ordering platforms in the takeaways, and how they worked and what they offered, and the challenges or the benefits they can offer to a restaurant. And then a kind of a suck it and see approach. It was a little bit like, let's go and run in the snow naked and see if we get frostbite. You know, let's just see what happens. Let's go and approach some customers that we've got, that we're friendlies.
Yeah.
We targeted 2 or 3 kind of high profile venues that everybody seemed to know. Just from experience, we knew they knew everybody, to see if we could get them on board. And that was the kind of the turning point, really, for us.
So were you able to actually save the money? Because I know these, let's say, Uber Eats and Deliveroo, they can charge quite a bit of money if they're doing both the delivery and getting the order. So how did that work? I mean, did they drop down their percentage if they're not doing the order and you're doing the order? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I found it quite complex initially. We didn't go in to sell this product. We went into restaurants and asked them to work with us, to help us. We were creating work locally for drivers, which was the big driving force behind it. And we could see that takeaways naturally were getting increased orders coming through. But then we started to understand the kind of commissions that your takeaways, your restaurants are being charged, anywhere from 15, 16% without a delivery service up to 30, 36% with, and how that ate into their profit, their bottom line profit. And this isn't a food ordering platform, but what it does do is, if they can drive orders direct to their own site or through the phones, and we can provide a delivery service, it's the ideal situation for everybody to be in.
So it's a win-win. They can actually reduce the percentage they pay to the food ordering apps, yeah, and then basically save and offload the delivery to you.
Well, if you think as well, we've got a huge network of drivers. We've got an on-demand service. So if they have their own delivery drivers, somebody could be ill, a driver could be gone, cars can break down, we can facilitate it for them on a larger scale, on a kind of an on-demand basis. Big selling points are, one initially was kind of 1 car, 1 order. So food was being sent out quicker, fresher. I think also that, what's the other point? Really, really strong point, that they can take more orders. So maybe before, where they'd split, turn off the platforms such as Just Eat or Uber Eats because they couldn't cope with the demand coming through, or they didn't have enough drivers coming in to take the orders away. They may be able to take a couple more orders and get them out via taxi service instead. So it is
interesting. So not only. So it's funny. So it's actually, a restaurant could actually do produce the food, but they would have to stop taking orders from these apps because simply they don't have enough drivers, for example.
Yes.
And so therefore, by giving them more drivers, you're actually able to let them actually make more money and get more orders.
Yes. And maximize the kitchens and maximize profits. So it's,
yeah.
Once you get under the skin of it and you ask them to help you and be open and transparent as you are with them, it was quite interesting to start to work out. And then no longer it's not necessarily a sell on, we're going to come and save you money, because taxi drivers need to earn money too. These guys are self-employed. We can't give the service away. It takes some management as well. It's not all been easy. I think we've made some mistakes. We've had to rectify those mistakes and understand it more. But what it has done, it's opened up a whole new market to us now, which we're looking to develop further. And
then usually, Dom, when they receive orders from Deliveroo or Uber Eats or Just Eat, usually like the delivery radius is a mile and a half with those companies. Were you able to offer them a larger delivery radius because we operate vehicles?
Yeah.
And so therefore get more orders?
You can expand the delivery radius as far as you want it to go. Naturally, hot food, perishable goods only have a certain distance they can travel. But we've broken into other kind of markets now with sandwich deliveries, with hamper deliveries. We've been taking orders out from Nottingham out to Melton Mowbray to Derby. So dependent on cost and long as it's all factored in, this has opened up something completely different for us that we're now expanding and exploring further, if that makes sense.
And how about drivers, Dom? What was it like approaching your own drivers to do deliveries, and did you have to kind of get different drivers to do it? What was that like?
I don't think, I mean, we have a team onboarding drivers. It wasn't easy to begin with. I think there's some kind of sentiment that taxi drivers move people, you know, rather than goods, hot food products, etc. We bought a number of hot bags, but bit by bit, you could see as the momentum grew, we started to onboard more taxi drivers, and then we diversified the onboarding team. Ultimately, I think now we've got over 184 new drivers we've onboarded, of which probably 50 to 60 every week are active with us, if that makes sense, because again, the global kind of food ordering platforms do offer different rates and surge pricing, which does put pressure, you know, on a firm like ourselves to facilitate it. However, we've managed to hold our own, which is great.
And so how about from an operational perspective, you know, did you have to have like a different dispatcher to do this? Bags, tablets, sales team, like what did you have to do different than before to accommodate this new line of business?
Well, it started again, I guess, internal communications. We started with sales. We just went out there. We had the benefit of having a restaurant on board from an early start that gave us some insight. We onboarded another couple and just worked very slowly to begin with. You know, I think when I last spoke, we had about 15 we were looking at onboarding. So we were working on a much smaller scale. It was understanding what we needed. You know, it was a bit of, again, going back to the run naked in the snow scenario. We needed to understand how many drivers we needed in kind of hotspot zones. And what we've seen is from initially, we created Microsoft Teams so the outlets could communicate direct with dispatch. And I think what we've seen is that our fleet management team now has grown from maybe one person who was setting up the devices for us, creating accounts, to now we've got probably 6 people, including sales, that we allocate to this.
Really? So a team of 6 actually is what you had to employ to make this work?
Or pull from other areas of the business to make this work.
Yes. No, that sounds good. And tell me, is it all right getting paid by these restaurants, or do you have to really chase?
Yeah, we have no issues whatsoever. We've got some phenomenal relationships in all ways, shapes, and forms. So we've been running the service now for, well, we're heading toward probably 10 months. You know, we've had 1 or 2 complications, but apart from that, yeah, it's all fine.
Excellent, Dom. And stay tuned because I want to bring you in while also talking to Matt as well. So Matt, thanks for joining us today. So Matt, and I guess if we can have the slide. So Matt went and actually said he started kind of from the other side of this, which is to launch his own Shrewsbury Eats app and website. And I'm just going to show them. We're going to show you this later live in a demo. But this is actually Matt's delivery, you know, Shrewsbury Eats website, and these are the actual food orders that you can order on that live today. And this is the app. So as you can see, it looks quite similar to some of the best apps out there in terms of food order. So Matt, let me ask you. I mean, you know, what made you say, look, I'm gonna actually launch my own food app when you know there are big players out there that are doing this today? What made you think, you know, this is the way I need to get started?
Well, it was actually my partner Natalie who does the marketing for the company as well. I kind of got involved in. I said, well, we've got to do something because obviously the taxi work is going to drop off with quite a lot of contract work, so that was gone, similar to Don was saying about DG cars, and so we needed to generate work, and that's what it came down to. So Natalie had previously kind of suggested that a delivery service would be a good way to generate more work, and we'd never really had time to do it, and COVID gave us the time to do it because we all of a sudden caught up on everything. And we were in a position to say, right, well, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, Just Eat, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, they've got a presence in Shrewsbury, but it's not massive. And they've got limited drivers and, as you said, a limited radius. So when we started talking to the restaurants, there was one other local company, but again, they've got only a few drivers. What we'd actually done in the first place was talk to this local company and say, look, we're a local business, you're a local business. Why don't we share our drivers with you? You take the work and we'll send the drivers. And they said, no, we'll do it ourselves. And we said, okay, well, we'll do what you do ourselves as well then. So that's because no one wanted to work with us. We just said, right, well, we'll do it on our own then. And so, as I say, it'd always been in the back of our minds. So it wasn't like a shot out of the blue, but it's suddenly we had the time, we had the motivation, and we needed to do something to keep the drivers busy. So that's how it came about. And we like building businesses, we like building brands. So what the hell?
Excellent, excellent. And what was it like convincing consumers to download the app and start shopping? I mean, what was that? That's incredible that you got them to.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you started a taxi company, when you start a taxi company, you're brand new, you need a phone number that's memorable, and you need to keep ramming it down people's throats. That's what you've got to do. And we applied the same principles that we did when we started Shrewsbury Taxis, bearing in mind we were in a town at the time that had 3 or 4 well-established taxi companies, and all had decent numbers. And we said, well, how did we do that? We just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And we've done the same with the Shrewsbury Eats app. We just rammed it down people's throats. We did deals with all the magazines. We cancelled all our taxi advertising and switched it to Shrewsbury Eats advertising, or shared it. A lot of the magazines said, the papers and magazines were very favourable. They said, you've worked with us for a long time on taxis. We'll keep your taxi advert, but we'll throw in a Shrewsbury Eats advert. So we were able to work with our current advertising suppliers. And we did a radio advert, which again, we got a very favourable rate because so many people had pulled the radio advert or their advertising budget. We got a favourable rate. So it was really just a case of constantly ramming Shrewsbury Eats down people's throats and utilising the social media following that we have on Shrewsbury Taxis to push that out to our existing taxi customers and make them aware, and basically saying, look, you trust us to get you home on a Saturday night, so why can't we get you a bag of chips? It's, if we can get you home safely, we can get you a pizza. And so because we got the reputation in Shrewsbury that was a good reputation, we kind of became, it was quite an easy sell, if you like, for people to think, well, they're good at taxis, so they're probably all right at food as well. And I think people thought the same thing. Normally they're moving me around and they're taking me to my restaurants. Now they're going to bring my food to me. So what's the difference?
By the way, Matt, somebody very smart, I know, and they're on this webinar, so they know who they are. They told me actually they've done an analysis. 40% of the taxi customers, so 40% of all of the companies that are here, 40% of the people who take taxi with you order food.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Right? Order food today. And so, by you going to them and saying, order food through me, there's 40% of your customers already are right there ready to order food from someone. So why not our customers? So well, I think you landed on something very smart, which is reach out to your customers and you're going to get lots of orders.
Well, the way we sold it to all the customers, all the restaurants as well, is that we've got drivers. We've got the drivers. There was no other company, despite the fact we'd never been in food deliveries before. We were, from day one, we had the largest fleet of food delivery drivers at our fingertips. So straight away, we could offer a better service. So the local company that we tried to work with and didn't want to know, kind of regretting that now, you're lucky if you get the food within 2 hours. And we're getting it there within the hour, So the service is just the service to the customers, and then you get the word of mouth, of course. And the restaurants, they like working with Shrewsbury Eats because we turn up on time to collect their food. Uber drivers don't, because they haven't got enough. Just Eat drivers don't. Also, the local company, again, they're not turning up on time. They're saying, well, I've had a curry sat here for half an hour. Another 10 minutes, I've got to remake it. So they're saying when you get an order, you turn up in the prep time that we've told you. So we say 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it might be. We turn up at that time. And so the restaurants, when someone phones them and says, do you do an online ordering? Can you do a delivery? Most of them are saying, download the Shrewsbury Eats app.
Fantastic.
Because the restaurants are paying less commission to us. We did undercut everyone to get our foot in the door. Not by a massive, I mean, we're doing between 10 and 15% commission to the restaurants. So we got in with the restaurants. They're paying less commission. They're getting a better service, which means the food arrives hot, which means they don't have to remake it. They don't get the complaints. It reflects well on them. It reflects well on us. So we've got the restaurants on our side, basically. And that's because we had the drivers there. We had the logistical network necessary to get these food. And we haven't got 100. I mean, if we had 160 restaurants, I mean, that'd be one each, you know, in Shrewsbury. So, you know,
right. That's fantastic. That's really a great success story. And then I think from what I know, you actually kind of use your own drivers, like you convinced your own drivers to do this.
Yeah.
Was that right, Matt?
Yeah, we do have now our own. We have got dedicated food drivers now, so that, you know, Shrewsbury Eats is also its own entity, as well as being part of Shrewsbury Taxis. But it started off, we used the taxi drivers, and not all of them wanted to do it. Some just said, I'm not doing it. And we said, that's fine, that's up to you. Some said, I'll try it. And then they said, I don't like it. And then by the second lockdown, they came back again and said, I've got no choice, I'll do it. And some embraced it and said, I'd rather be doing this because I don't actually want to be around people anyway at the moment. You know, we've got a couple of drivers that have got, you know, health conditions that would make them vulnerable. You know, they're very careful about being around people with COVID and all that kind of stuff. So to be able to not have people in that car with them and still earn a living has been a godsend to them. So,
and Matt, how about operationally, on an operational level? Now you have to do more when you're launching your own app. I mean, there are menus to load. There are customer complaints. I presume they come to you if they've ordered food through the app and it didn't show up correctly, and staff. So what were they like, and what kind of investment did you have to make in your business in order to deliver on these? Well,
we've used the staff that we had. So we haven't had to furlough people through any of this. I think one person was furloughed for a while, for a few weeks. But we've utilised the resource that we've already got within the business and said, right, if you can retrain to look after our Shrewsbury Eats business, you know Autocab, it's all going to be booked into Autocab, so you know how that system works. What you've basically got to do is check the orders when they're coming through, keep an eye on them, make sure they're booked in properly, and deal with the customer complaints or queries and questions. But the system that we use, when a customer goes onto the app, they can message Shrewsbury Eats directly, and they can ask us a question. Do you deliver to here? How much is the delivery charge? All these kind of questions. But if they've ordered, when they press chat, the message goes to the restaurant as well as to us. So we give the restaurants an opportunity to answer. But if they're too busy or they haven't answered within a reasonable amount of time, then we step in and we help the customer out. And that could be, you know, they've missed off part of the order. You know, people will say my food was cold, all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of coordinate between us and the restaurant and the customer, the end user, to kind of resolve the situation, be that a remake of the food or just send out the missing item, or refund the missing item, whatever it might be. So it is, what we've done is called the people working on Shrewsbury Eats. Our taxis are run by controllers. The Shrewsbury Eats is run by coordinators. And we put that title in there to make it clear to them that they're there to coordinate everything and not, you know, not to be kind of as a controller, if you like. They're just there to make sure the live chat messages are answered. And you don't get phone calls. It's all on live chat. And the better you run it, the less live chat questions you get. It's just,
you're going to get.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so this is a question now for both of you, for both Dom and Matt. How do you make money off of this in both models?
We don't. That's a constant.
Is this just an investment in the future, or is there, when do we make money?
It's profitable now. You've got an investment with equipment, tablets or printers. You can charge setup fees, but obviously, again, breaking into a market, you kind of have to put your hand in your pocket and say, look, we'll give you the printer, and we'll give you, we'll give you the equipment that's necessary. But if you think we charge the drivers a commission anyway, so we're getting a kickback on the commission, on the fare from the drivers, and we're getting a kickback on the orders as well. So, that's
and Matt, I think you actually not only you charge the customer, the shopper, for the food item, which might be, let's say, £30, but you also charge them a delivery fee.
Yes.
Right, which kind of offsets some of the cost anyway of the. So because you're making money on both sides, on the delivery, you keep the delivery fee.
Yes.
And then also you can take a lower percentage off of the food order at that point.
Yeah. That's it. So we're getting it from both sides, and yes, we charge the customers a delivery fee.
And it is possible. Obviously, we take the commission from the drivers once all invoicing's been settled, etc. So, right. If not,
excellent. And then one topic again for both of you. So obviously, you're competing out there with some of the big apps, and they do both delivery and and the shopping part as well. So I guess there is competition on drivers, and I know like sometimes they surge and stuff like that. So how difficult have you find that? Are you able to work with that? How does that work?
Well, I think from our perspective, we've had to look at the bigger picture. We've had to understand what rates are charged, what rates are being paid by the bigger players, and just find a happy medium to some extent. But what we've come across is stationing drivers in particular areas where we know we've got busy hotspots. So the drivers are literally picking up, dropping off, picking up, dropping off. And it's quite competitive. We've looked at some of the kind of new offers from Just Eat when they've onboarded drivers with their new delivery platform, or they're trying to reinvent the delivery platform. Can we be as competitive as that? Probably not. However, I think that's where it comes down to the management side of it, working direct with customers and working with the drivers. And we leave that pretty much to fleet management to do, but it seems to have proved successful. Whatever model we're working with currently has proved successful.
And what's the future? Where do you think you can, both of you would grow with this delivery? I mean, if I were to come a year from now, where do you think we'll find DG Cars, and where do you think we'll find Shrewsbury?
I think the delivery side will be a separate entity to the main core business. Yeah.
I think Shrewsbury Taxis will have its taxi business. Shrewsbury Eats will have its delivery business, and the partnership between the two will mean on a busy night when we've got a load of food orders coming through, the taxi drivers will be an overflow resource to do the food deliveries, which in all fairness, 80% or not, probably 80% of them would be happier with. And they don't mind doing them. They'll do the odd few in between. And I think that's where they'd like to get to as a taxi driver, is that they're doing people, and occasionally they do some food deliveries when we're short of drivers, or we've got too many orders for the food only drivers. So we're already starting to prioritise all food deliveries go to specific food delivery drivers.
I think it'd be, sorry, Matt, a single app multifunction, food, taxis, other things. That's the way we see it going as well.
I mean, I see, of course, both of you are doing the two different things, but I'm going to bet in a year, both of you will be doing both things, in terms of doing the delivery for everybody else, and also have your own app to offer everything to everyone. That's really great. So then, last question for both of you. This sounds really super exciting, but it looks like a lot of work. What would you say to people, other taxi companies that are out there? Should they jump in? Is this for everybody? Why not? What do you think? What advice would you give out there?
I'll lead if you want, Matt. I think there's an assumption that after June, everything will be back to normal. I'm pretty confident, having spoke to hundreds of clients, that won't be the case. And I still think there'll be restrictions on how people work and operate as well. So if we're looking at the corporate side of the business, a lot of that will take much longer to get to kind of the stats where it was before. And this isn't easy work. However, most operators already have relationships with people in their hometown, in the cities. And I think it's just worth approaching them and having an honest, open chat with these guys and saying, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. And once you get that momentum started, it's very difficult to stop because you'll see the benefit from it.
And Matt, what do you think? What advice would you give other taxi operators? Is this something worth going into?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've done, obviously working with Autocab to integrate our app into delivery points, working with the app producer to kind of make it work for a local market, if you like, our market, has been very time consuming and a massive learning curve. However, anyone now taking it on won't have any of that to do, because it's, I mean, if you think that when we started this, but I think we had the first conversations back in June or July.
Together, right, Matt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We were manually inputting every job into Auto.
Yeah.
We were literally, we had people there, the orders came in, they typed them into Autocab as a taxi booking and sent a car. And then, you know, and then it was just all manual. And now it's all integrated. The app is there. We've had improvements on the app itself that make it easier. I mean, uploading menus and stuff is not the most difficult thing in the world, especially if you know your way around Excel, or you can do it online as well. It's not difficult. Yes, it takes a bit of time. The first few will be, you know, a bit mind-boggling, but once you understand how the system works, you can knock out a menu pretty quickly. And yeah, honestly, so much of the hard work has been done by Autocab, by ourselves, by the app developers, by DG Cars. You're walking into something that's established and is working really well. I mean, really well for us. I don't know what we'd be doing if we hadn't got this, in all fairness. That's what it comes down to. And where we've been able to take it, because of delivery point integrated in everything, and the restaurants love the system. Every restaurant's got a little gripe about something or other, but they all love the way the order comes in. It automatically accepts it. It automatically prints off a ticket or 2 tickets. They've got the order in front of them. It books a car. It tells them when the car's coming. They can reschedule it if they want to. It shows them how far away we are from the restaurant. It shows them how far away we are from the customer. It's like they're sat in our office booking their own taxis. You couldn't ask for more. I mean, well, I will ask for more, Safa, because you know me.
No. Enough is enough, Matt. Okay.
there's always
no, of course.
But yeah,
we're 100% committed to this space.
But I think if you walk into a place now with your own app or delivery points or both, and you show a restaurant, we're already ahead of what the likes of Uber, Deliveroo, and Just Eat can offer in terms of driver fleet size, tracking of drivers, control and management of orders. It's all there.
That's amazing. And then now with delivery point latest version, you can combine jobs, isn't it, and get efficiencies. So automatically the system puts 3 or 4 deliveries together and saves everybody money. So you could have a job from Uber Eats, another one from Deliveroo, another one from Shrewsbury Eats, and they all get combined into a single vehicle and save money on delivery.
You can do, yeah. If that's, we don't quite work that way. We can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're just using delivery point, then yes, you could do. And if you want to pay the restaurants your delivery fee, then yes, you can integrate everything with one place, and that's how it would work. As I say, we've kind of run it a bit separately, but yeah, we still got the merge order. And so fish and chips, for example, is a classic. You'd be amazed how many people so close together all order fish and chips at the same time. And actually, if you stand at the chip shop, you can see their house. They're that close. And so when you're chucking in 3 or 4 fish and chip orders, they're getting there. We're getting £3 per delivery. And, if you're doing 4 of those, that's £12 to us. And we're probably paying a driver £5-6 because, they're all within a mile. So, they don't all work out, but that's the way that it's got to go. And that's the way that it'll be heading towards.
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, I could spend the next half hour talking to you guys, but we got to stay within the time limit that we've got. And thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for your support. Ready? Sorted.
Excellent. So I guess next we'll go to Hassan, who will actually do a demo of the technology involved. Hassan, to you now.
Thanks, Safa. Thanks, Matt and Dom. That was really insightful, I think. Thanks for your honesty and transparency as well, I think, on behalf of everyone. I'll be demoing the solution. I'll take probably no longer than 15 minutes. And I'll have the help of Matt Welford, not Matt Young. Matt Welford, who works with us at Autocab in our DevOps team. Matt, hello.
Hi everyone.
You doing you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I hope everyone's good as well.
Very good, excellent. So let's go ahead and start off by sharing screen. First, we're going to show you two products today. The first product is the Shrewsbury Eats app and website, which Shrewsbury cars are using today. To clarify, this is not an Autocab product. This has not been developed by Shrewsbury Cars either. This is actually a third-party company that has this software. So what we'll do is we'll just show you how it looks, and obviously we can provide you with information later on how to get it. So this is Shrewsbury Eats app. As you can see, you can at the top there, you've got the different types of food, burgers, sandwiches, kebabs, pizza, very similar to Deliveroo, very similar to Uber Eats in terms of the look and the feel. You can click into an individual takeaway. It will tell you about the takeaway, its reviews, and obviously you can see reviews as well. If you go back, Matt, just for a second, you've got the option to chat that Matt from Shrewsbury Cars mentioned. If you'd like to order now, you can click order now, and that will then show you the menu. Obviously, you would go into an individual section, add your types of dishes that are your favorite ones. That would build obviously into a checkout, and obviously you would pay by card at the end of the process. That money would then go to Shrewsbury Cars, and then Shrewsbury Cars at the end of the month or the week, for example, would obviously keep a portion of that as their cut, and obviously pay that to the restaurants as well. So that's the app. If we just jump to show the website as well, that comes with this solution. So this is the Shrewsbury Eats website, very similar, as you've seen, to the app, very similar to Deliveroo, very similar to Uber Eats as well. Some of the features which Matt from Shrewsbury Cars mentioned, where you can track your order and so on, happen, of course, after you've placed an order. What we're going to do today is we're going to place a test booking in a test environment just to show you the booking process. So we're craving some fried chicken today, so we're going to go to crunchy fried chicken. That sounds very nice. I'm sure a lot of us have had fried chicken in the last 18 months. So we're going to have a chicken dynamite burger. That sounds nice. We're going to add that, and we're going to also add a cheese belly burger. That sounds very interesting. And let's go to the checkout. It's asking me to add my address. So let's just add the address. Matt's going to add his mobile phone number as well for updates on his order status, and obviously the address of where he lives, 11 Curzon Avenue. He's not actually putting his real address in, so there's no need to take a note of that if you want to go and say hi to him. You can label that as well as your home address, and that gets saved for future bookings, just like on Deliveroo, just like on Uber Eats. Let's just save that. And let's say proceed to the payment screen. You can see the order is £28. With the delivery fee, you can see there is £4, which you can probably configure in the background. Let's proceed to the payment screen.
Yeah, Hassan, real quick, that delivery fee comes from Ghost. So whenever you configure in Ghost for delivery, that's actually flowing right through into this app, and it's added in here, just FYI.
Exactly. So this is all obviously integrated with Ghost, and we'll show you the other side later on. At this stage, it's the payment confirmation screen. This would say pay by card. The cash option wouldn't be available, just to clarify. That just says that because it's in a test environment. As I've said, all the money would come into Shrewsbury Cars, and then Shrewsbury Cars would then pay to the restaurants. And if you just pay, Matt, and then we'll actually show you how that appears on the restaurant side. But from the Shrewsbury Eats perspective, that's all we'll be showing you on that front. Very similar to Uber Eats, very similar to Deliveroo. and obviously this third-party piece of software which we've integrated with, you know, it gives our customers the opportunity to go away and start targeting this business immediately, you know, rather than waiting for, you know, something else. So the next product we're going to show you is the delivery point. So if you don't mind sharing that, Matt. Perfect. So as I've said, this is the delivery point product. So some of you might be familiar with this already. Some of you will be seeing it for the first time. This is an Android app which typically is in the takeaway. It's on an Android tablet, which typically taxi company would buy and provide to the takeaway, kind of like a taxi butler, if you want to think of it like that. And as you can see, this says powered by Shrewsbury Taxis for crunchy fried chicken. So we're in the takeaway. There's an Android tablet which says one new order is coming. If you click into that, let's have a look at what it says. So on the dashboard, you can see here it says powered by Shrewsbury Taxis at the top for crunchy fried chicken. It provides the takeaway with a live average ETA. This is a live ETA pulled from the Ghost system. So it's obviously this is an Autocab product that I'm showing you now, delivery point, and it's integrated with our system. And as you can see here, there's been an order that's come in onto the incoming tab, and it says order number 487 blah 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 for Matt Welford. If you just click into that, and as you can see, that's the order that we just placed through the website. So it's the chicken dynamite burger, the cheese belly burger. It tells the takeaway that the ETA that was provided to the consumer that's booked through the website was about 30 minutes. So this is telling them that, you know, there's 28 minutes before the customer's expecting to receive the food. So that's good that the takeaway knows that, because then they can obviously know what the customer's expectations are. They can also see the contact information of the person that's placed the order. They can also see the location, and if you click on delivery, in terms of where the order is getting delivered to. And there's a little print icon on the right-hand side of the screen where the takeaway, if they like, can connect Bluetooth printers to the Android tablet and print out the order so they can attach that order onto the bag, for example. Now, when the takeaway receives this order, which has come in, to clarify, via an API connection, it's coming automatically through APIs with the third-party software, which I showed you previously. It's coming automatically. The takeaway has the option to accept the order, reject the order, or immediately demand pickup. Immediately demand pickup would typically be where the food's like really quick and it's already made. This crunchy fried chicken like to make to order, so we're just going to click accept. Once we've clicked accept, it's going to move from the incoming tab to the to-do tab. So obviously incoming means all the orders that have just come in. The to-do tab is a tab where the food needs to be cooked. If we just click into the order for Matt Welford, and we have two options. We can schedule for when the guy's going to come and pick up. So we could say, for example, schedule it for, I don't know, 2:20 or 2:10, for example, or we could say order delivery now because the food's ready now. We're going to click order delivery now. Now, when I click order delivery now, this automatically creates a job and sends a job into the Ghost system. We're actually going to show you, if you just jump to the Ghost system, we're going to show you what that looks like in Ghost. Matt's on our 365 booking and dispatch, which I would encourage as many of you as to try out and use. I think we've got over 100 customers that are using this so far. It's our web-based product, very easy to access. As you can see, Crunchy Fried Chicken's order, which is on 95 Oxford Road, has actually come in as the pickup. It is destination 11 Curzon Avenue, so that has come in perfectly. And as you can see, it's an account job, so it's going to be paid on account, obviously, in terms of so the driver doesn't have to demand cash. And if you don't mind, Matt, if you just send this to a driver, dispatch it to a driver, so we can see what the takeaway sees on the delivery point once you do that. So just jump back to delivery point, we'll have a look at what happens. So this order is currently scheduled and it's moved into delivering. You saw it move straight away, and you can see here if you just click into the order, this basically says that the, oh, sorry, if you just close that. So it's loading the car information. So that tells the takeaway that the driver's on the way. He's been dispatched. You can see that it's been dispatched. It's telling that the Go system telling you that it's been dispatched. And once it loads, obviously it will show the vehicle information in terms of what car to look out for. There we go. So Tommy's our driver. This is his number. You're looking out for a black Toyota Prius with that number plate. And the takeaway, you heard Matt from Shrewsbury Cars mention how they can literally see it's like it's in our dispatch screen. This is the screen that he's talking about, full transparency to the takeaway so that they have complete peace of mind about where the drivers are and how long he's going to be. If you just close that screen, and it tells you an ETA there of 6 minutes. If I can ask you, Matt, to say that the driver's arrived outside the pickup, just so we can see what the takeaway would see. There you go. He's at pickup. So he's just gone onto the driver companion and say he's arrived. If you say that you've picked up the food and you are now on the way to the drop off, so swipe to the driver companion to say picked up, and it says delivering. So the driver now, the takeaway knows the driver is on his way to deliver the food, and his ETA to the person's house is 6 minutes. So if the customer inquires saying, where's my food? Straight away, they can say, if you click onto that job now, they can actually quote the location of the driver and say he's going to be 6 minutes. He's on his way to you straight away. And finally, if you just swipe the driver companion, Matt, to say dropped off, this order will be processed and it will move out of this section and it will be kind of a completed job within the system. And it will actually move to the history in the top right-hand corner. If you click into history, that journey is there, and it's in his history that it's a completed job straight away. So we've just shown how a job is processed from the Shrewsbury Eats website all the way through a delivery point in a completely automated way, which if you're interested in launching your own food delivery app, that shows you how easy it is to basically launch that in a way with Delivery Point, which is the Autocab product, and then the third-party software that Shrewsbury Cars are using, which obviously we can provide you with details later on. The second thing I'd like to show you is how DG Cars are using Delivery Point. So DG Cars are using Delivery Point. DG Cars, as it stands today, don't have a food delivery app in Nottingham. The way that they're using Delivery Point is the takeaways are obviously receiving orders from Deliveroo, from Uber Eats over the phone, and DG Cars are saying rather than use the Deliveroo drivers or the Uber drivers to deliver the food, use DG Cars to deliver the food. So imagine yourself, you're in the takeaway, you're in Crunchy Fried Chicken in DG in Nottingham, and you're using the DG Cars to do the service. An order comes in on Deliveroo. At this stage, you can use the same Delivery Point product to process the order. If you click Add New, so let's just assume a delivery is coming via Deliveroo on some kind of portal or website that Deliveroo would provide them. They want a DG Cars driver to fulfill the order. So they click Add New. They type in the mobile phone number. They copy it across manually, obviously right now, from the Deliveroo app. We've got built-in CLI that we've developed for them. So if the customer's books before, you can simply click on the CLI and it will remember their name. If you go next, it will also remember their pickup location, and also you can have the ability to add delivery instructions. If you just click next. Attach an order number to that, which is very simple. Okay, and then the total value has already been paid for this order because the delivery has come in through Deliveroo or Uber Eats, and simply place order. And as I've said, the delivery charge, it said £4 there. All of those are configurable within the Go system in terms of in the pricing rules. And that's all sorted. So that order now comes into the to-do section. And really, that is how DG Cars, and I won't go through and process this job again because I kind of went through that already, but that just shows you how DG Cars are using the Delivery Point product in coordination with Deliveroo and Uber Eats. And by the way, if another Uber Eats order were to come in you know, Crunchy Fried Chicken would simply say add new again, if you just click on add new, and they would keep adding orders in that same way. And so that's how they're currently using it.
And then Hassan, you can see how then the two models can work together within Delivery Point. So if you can go back, Matt, to the last screen. So food orders come in, they'll come into the incoming automatically from your own app, your own food app, but at the same time, you can say add new for orders that come from anywhere else. And all of this basically is handled within the same device.
Exactly, exactly. One more thing to show you before you shoot off. So a massive new update on Delivery Point is, and I see there's been a few questions in the Q&A section. I think three people have asked already, can you merge orders and how does that work? So in this new update, you can merge orders. If you just go to the scheduled section, here's one we made earlier. For those who've seen Art Attack, there's a combined delivery here. So it says there are 3 orders here. And I'd like you to think in your head, imagine Lucy, Ben, and Jack all made orders from Crunchy Fried Chicken. They all ordered around the same time, and they all live on the same road. So Lucy lives on 5 King Street, Ben lives on 10 King Street, Jack lives on 15 King Street. They all ordered at 2:30, if you can see that. And they've all ordered a fried chicken around the same time. And as a result, it's combined the delivery straight away. And if you actually go back, Matt, we've actually got an order that Matt's prepared earlier for Charlotte. And if you actually go onto that order and say, schedule that order for 2:30, in theory, hopefully it works, it will add this to those 3 orders that have already been combined. So if we just go to the scheduled, and there we go. Thank God it's worked. So, and you can see there that one driver is now going to come to Crunchy Fried Chicken, pick up these 4 orders, and deliver them all onto the 4 people that live on the same street. Now, if you just go to the back end, Matt, I want to, because obviously that's one example. I want to show you some of the configurations you can do around this. So first of all, what you don't want is someone lives in North Manchester and someone lives in South Manchester, and they order at 2:30, and you end up the first person that gets the delivery drops off gets the food nice and hot, but the second one, because he's about 10 miles away, it goes cold. So the first setting here called merge order distance, this will only merge orders if the two pickups, the 2 people I've ordered, are within 2 miles. So 3,200 meters equates to 2 miles. So it will only merge orders if they're both in South Manchester within a 2-mile radius of each other. So this basically protects that part of the order. The second one, which says 15 minutes. So if someone were to order, if 2 people were to order, you know, on the same road, 5 King Street and 10 King Street, but one of them ordered for it to be at 2:30 and the other person ordered at, I don't know, 3:30, it wouldn't merge those orders because obviously it's within 15 minutes. It's not within 15 minutes of each other. So this allows you to basically play around and make sure that, you know, it's within reason. The final one, if 10 people order on the same street, all for the same time, it's not going to merge all 10 of those orders because, you know, the 10th guy that gets his drop off, his food's going to be cold. So there's a limit of, you can only merge up to 4 orders. So playing around with these 3 configurations can enable you to obviously deliver a good service. You might say, why would I want to merge orders? The main reason to merge orders is obviously to make more money. So obviously that rather than doing 4 jobs, you'd do 1 job, but you would be able to bill the takeaway for, you know, obviously for the 4 jobs, for the 4 deliveries. So this feature we believe can help working with DG Cars and working with Shrewsbury Cars can help increase the profitability of deliveries for taxi companies. So to summarize, we showed you the, if you just go back to the PowerPoint, to summarize what we've shown you today is the Shrewsbury Eats, the third-party software, which they are using to launch a food delivery app and website in their local area. We can provide you with details of that later. we've obviously integrated with that third-party software through our system in the delivery point products in order for you to be able to launch that straight away. We've also shown you the ability to merge orders and obviously we have open APIs, obviously looking into the future. In terms of if you're interested in getting delivery points, delivery point is actually free. It's part of it's free for platinum bundle customers. So if you're in the platinum bundle, you can get delivery points. I noticed there was a question, interestingly, saying, how does Autocab benefit if it's just if I'm going to get it free? Well, obviously we benefit if you guys grow, and obviously if you grow, if you all grow and become, double in size or grow by 50%, like the likes of Shrewsbury Cars are doing, then obviously you will buy more driver's licenses, and that's kind of how we benefit. But of course, obviously we want to help everyone out during the pandemic as much as we can. And then someone even asked, why doesn't Autocab deliver a super app that does deliveries and taxis? I think that could well happen in the future, but obviously for right now, we're trying our best to get something out there as quickly as possible that taxi companies can use to pivot towards deliveries and grow a delivery business as quickly as possible. And that's why we've taken this approach for right now. I think that's my bit. Is there anything you'd like to add, Safa?
No, Hassan, I think that was really good. Thank you so much. Excellent. And I guess next we have Ryan, who will come and speak for just a few minutes. Apologies, Ryan, it looks like we're kind of over our time. So if you can kind of squeeze in as much as you can, but still get the job done. So Ryan is a consultant for Autocab, and he'll be talking about how to approach restaurants.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Safa. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for the time today. Just a little bit about myself and my experiences in the online industry. So I was with Just Eat back in 2009, Deliveroo, Hungry House. For the last 10 years, I've also been involved in quite a few early startup delivery businesses, including Bulk Fleet and Productive Delivery. Currently working with a franchise called Chow Chow. We have actually 3 stores that actually use the delivery app system at the moment. So I've got a unique overview of how the app works, the restaurant industry, and hopefully through the next few minutes, I'll be able to give you a few tips and tricks on how to sell to the restaurants. I guess the main thing about the restaurant industry, it's probably totally different to your regular clients in the taxi world. It's very fast paced. The restaurants don't have a lot of time, and it's very multicultural. So patience is definitely key. But one thing that is for sure is when you go to speak to the restaurants and when you target the correct restaurants, you just got to be really informative, really honest, and offer a solution to their problem that they have. And everybody, no matter what size restaurant, takeaway, or eat out dining place, there is always a delivery issue. There is always a delivery problem that I believe Delivery Point can solve. So the main thing for me is to be able to look at your area. So every city is different, as we've already seen. There's very different restaurants, there's very different takeaways around. And a big thing for me is targeting the correct guys. So do we know who deliver the most? Do we know the busy restaurants? Do we also know the new restaurants that have actually changed their approach during COVID and started to do deliveries that you might be able to target with a little bit more ease? The main thing for me as well is just going in there and having a plan, having a structure, and making sure that you're identifying with the restaurant's needs. So something that we did at Just Eat and Hungry House over the many years is something called an elevator pitch. It's very short, very sharp, very informative, and it really just gets the attention of the owner. As I said, they are very busy guys. So when we speak to them, we've got to speak with some real value. So something along the lines of, I'm working with XYZ taxis in the local area. We've got over 250 drivers across Nottingham, for example. COVID has meant that we've had to adapt our business, as I'm sure you guys have. What we're looking to do now is just partner with a few quality restaurants, a few quality takeaways, and give you access to our fleet of drivers. what we're trying to do as a result of this is improve your profit, improve your revenue stream, and also improve your customer service, because we can guarantee that we have on-fleet drivers, on-demand drivers that they can get to you within 10-15 minutes. Does that sound interesting? So when you're speaking to a typical restaurant owner, all of the things that I've just mentioned there are vital to them. So it's the productivity, it's the cost, it's being able to service customers better and get more orders and increase your capacity, which obviously in turn increases your revenue. So another way that I've suggested that we can go and delve into this is something called a cost calculator. So for me, it's just a simple spreadsheet that just lays down absolutely everything in regards to what they're paying at the moment. So it's best for a restaurant owner to see the figures. That's the best way to speak to these guys. And for me, it's breaking down the cost of how much you pay your driver per hour. Is there an incentive, and how many deliveries does that driver do per evening? With a simple sum on an Excel sheet, that will actually spit out a number that will give you guys the exact cost of their delivery, which is very powerful, because a lot of the restaurant owners don't actually know how much they're paying per delivery. And once you actually go through this detail, it's very surprising when you compare on average through my findings, it varies between £4 and £6 per delivery, depending on how busy that restaurant is. So from a taxi point of view, you're offering a service, and we can actually go in there with a fee of around £4 to £6 per delivery, depending on the actual radius. So it's really, really powerful for a restaurant to see that actually what I have access to at the moment is a pool of drivers from Autocab, sorry, from the taxi company, is having a pool of drivers, having that tracking technology, giving them customer notifications. We only actually pay for your delivery service when we use it. And in the long run, what we actually want from you guys is to be able to give you all of our orders. And we've touched on it a little bit earlier with Safa and Dom. The impact of actually taking away the restaurant's ability to deliver with Deliveroo. So we're going to take away the delivery driver, for example, or the Uber driver. That cuts the restaurant's commission from 30% upwards down to 12 and 13%. So from a restaurant's point of view, if they get a £100 order from Deliveroo, for example, they're looking at paying £30 plus VAT in commissions for that order. If they used the Delivery Point app and the service that XYZ taxis are offering, that actually drops to 12-13%, which is huge for them. So instead of that £30, they're obviously paying a considerable amount less. So it's really, really a win-win for restaurants. And I think that from speaking from a child point of view, having this system in the restaurants and in the franchises, it really empowers the kitchen to take control of their deliveries and really increase the workflow and the capacities, which is very important for any restaurant and takeaway out there. Is there any questions on that?
Great, Ryan. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciated.
No problem.
So let's go to the next slide. So in terms of looking to the future, I mean, I can tell you we at Autocab are 100% committed to do everything that is required that we can do, you know, on our side in terms of technology, in terms of working with our customers, to enable all of you that are interested in this space to expand your businesses into this area. We're fully committed in that. We're resourced to pursue that. And, you know, honestly, I mean, I think the future is, and this future we didn't think about. It was customers who came to us who said, look, here is what we think we need to go, you know, market leading companies. Here's where we need to go with our business. And honestly, we signed up 100% to be all there. But I think the future is, as they explained it to us and we believe in, is that taxi companies, private hire companies of the future should be multi-fleet. You know, they do as much delivery as they do taxi. And I think if we were to do that, knowing the two markets are exactly the same size, we're looking to see all of our customers double in size, which would be phenomenal for us as a company. That just means more driver licenses and growth for our customers, which of course what we all try to do day in and day out. So we think this is a great space, and we're totally committed. And I promise you personally to listen to you and figure out where you want to go with this space, and I'll do everything that I can in my power to support you, through this journey. Thank you very much. I think that's all I've got. I'll turn that back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Safa, and thank you everyone for all our speakers today. I think you'll all agree that was a really insightful session. Just to kind of finish off today, we've just got one final poll, which I've just set live. So there's a couple of questions on there. So firstly, would you actually consider adopting a delivery service following the chat today? And which delivery model do you think actually would be best suited to your business, having heard from both of our customers? So really look forward to hearing your responses to that. Just a couple of things. If you do have any further questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch with our sales team. They'd love to, answer any questions that you might have or talk to you about how you can actually get this implemented. So just email sales@autocab.com. We will be sending out a survey after this later today. So if you could just keep your eyes peeled and let us know any feedback, that would be fantastic. And finally, we will be also sending out in the coming weeks a couple of emails in regards to Ryan's tips and tricks, just so you've got those to hand. But in the meantime, please do refer back to the video, as that will be going live for you to rewatch. So I'm just going to end the polling and share the results with you now. Thanks to everyone who voted, and great to see that so many of you are already, ready to adopt that delivery service. I'm really interested to see how many different ones you prefer to adopt. For those who aren't sure, please do drop our sales team a note, and we're really glad that this session has proved insightful. So we'd just like to say thank you so much for coming, and once again, thank you to our speakers for a great session. Thanks everyone, and speak to you soon.